Welcome to BIB Today, the podcast from the newsroom of business in Vancouver. I'm Kirk LaPointe, publisher and executive editor. You know, the benefits of technology are not always shared by everyone. There's considerable cleavage between the haves and the have-nots. Today, we're going to look at a very innovative outfit, the BC Technology for Learning Society, and it takes donated computers and it refurbishes them for schools, for nonprofit entities, for low-income Canadians. It's a very, very interesting program that's been around now for, probably about 25 years. My guest is Mary-Ann Waddington. She's its executive director. Good to have you with us.
Thanks for having me, Kurt.
This is a great program. I mean, and I've watched it from afar for a while. But tell me a little bit as we start about just the scope in this country, what it's been able to provide.
Sure. So Computers for Schools is the main program that we deliver here at BC Technology for Learning Society. And it was announced as a government program by Kim Campbell when she was Prime Minister in 1993. So we're actually celebrating our 30th anniversary this month.
Wow.
And in that time, there's been Computers for Schools programs set up in every province and territory across Canada. And collectively, we've donated or repurposed 2 million computers, which we've put back into, as you said, schools, nonprofits, sent into the low-income family homes. The work that we've done specifically in BC on this has generated 195,000 computers that we've been able to contribute back to society.
What's the process? I mean, is it just, could I take my old laptop and bring it on in and you take it away and make it wonderful again for somebody else to use? Is that as simple as that?
It is pretty much as simple as that. I mean, it's simple for you, the donor. It is that simple. For us, it is a lot more complicated because your computer or laptop is going to come with your personal and sensitive data and information on there. So we have to be third-party audited. We have to have very stringent processes and procedures in terms of how we're wiping hard drives to make sure that over 30 years that there has been no leaks of anyone's personal information or data.
Yeah. Let's get into the weeds a little bit. Is there software that comes with the computer? Or is it just kind of a shell that then you have to equip with software?
So when part of our refurbishing process is to deploy Microsoft product on there, we are a Microsoft authorized refurbisher, and that allows us to deploy still Windows 10, but certainly moving towards Windows 11 in the next few months, as well as for some of our clients, we can put the Office suite on there as well. In other cases where a client may not want or may not be eligible for the Microsoft products, we usually will put a Linux and Zorn process on there. So we're just looking to open source software as well. But we do want to make sure that it is fully functional and ready for the new user to pick up and to immediately begin to start using it.
I wonder, Mary-Ann, if there is any kind of hesitance around people declaring their need for this. I mean, have we now come to the point where people aren't awkward or delicate about asking for this kind of support?
I don't think so. I think, needs exist where needs exist. And we have, in addition to Computers for Schools, the Tech at Home program, and in partnership with TELUS, the Internet for Good program. And across the three programs that we're delivering here, all of them are geared at making sure that people in need who need either more technology, if it's a school or a nonprofit, or if it's something needed in the home, that it is an easy and streamlined process for them to follow. With the low-income families that we're supporting, there are some qualifiers that we are looking to see to make sure that it's going to where it is truly needed, but at the same time, not being overly burdensome or invading privacy too much.
Yeah. You talk about the effort that has to be put in to the refurbishing of it. I mean, it's obviously you're not just wiping them down with a cloth and sending them out the door, but there's also this large contingent of people who actually do the refurbishing. And I want to ask you about the jobs that you've kind of created in that space.
In addition to the Computers for Schools program, that goes hand in hand with the Computers for Schools interns program. And so we do receive government funding each year to hire, depending on the funding bracket or envelope that year, anywhere between 9 to 20 interns for the year. And so These youth will be between the ages of 15 and 29, having done some work in the post-secondary sphere, usually around wanting to develop a career in IT. And the initial impetus of the program was to make sure that youth who did want to pursue a career in IT, who may have gone to school but didn't actually have that 6 months or 1 year experience that a lot of employers were looking at. They had the book learning, but they didn't have the experience. And so the internship program really helps to bridge that divide as well, to make sure that youth are getting experience to supplement what they've been learning in the classroom, and really make sure that they are literally getting their hands dirty fixing these computers. And when they walk out of the internship program, they have worked out on every manufacturer IT product. They've worked on multiple devices. They've printers, not fax machines anymore, but printers and laptops and computers, and those are now turning into mini PCs, as well as an array of Mac equipment as well. But there's quite a variety of equipment that we do receive in and work to refurbish and distribute. And in the process, we are supporting a number of youth each year to build their experience and help them get good jobs in the IT sector as they move forward. We also take a complement of high school students each year as well, and they are usually youth who are also interested in pursuing a career in IT in some fashion. And they come in through their guidance counselors at high school, and provide 1 week of volunteering with us. And in exchange, we provide them with all of that inventory management training that they do. So they do some time in the warehouse. And then they move into the workshop where they're doing more peer-based learning in terms of how to refurbish the computers. So it's teaching both the complement of the hardware skills as well as the soft skills and people management and peer learning.
Do the employees or do the interns also get a great deal of value from understanding the social nature of this and the purpose of trying to share technology with those that have far less advantage?
Yeah. So usually when we're doing the onboarding process, I will caution everyone when they're starting. I'm like, this is going to get a little bit repetitive. There's it's procedures, it's work. Some of this is going to get repetitive, but I do say, please keep in mind, especially when it comes to the cleaning, the physical, removing of the coffee stains and the dust bunnies from the computers. This is going into someone's home where they have not had a computer before, and we really want this to be a good and positive experience for them. So sometimes we do have stigmas about receiving used equipment, or, I have to get someone's used stuff, and we do want to make sure that it looks new and that it has been refurbished to a high caliber. So making sure that youth are aware of where the equipment is going and the importance of that social connection definitely does help them, kind of build more pride in their work as well, because they know it is important to whoever's going to be receiving it.
Yeah. If it were a donor like me, I would probably give you a laptop every 4 or 5 years, but you must have large scale donors as well, big business, wherever it may go. Who are some of the larger firms that you've got linked in to the Tech for Learning Society?
Yeah, so because we're delivering a Government of Canada program, Computers for Schools, we do have first right of refusal on all federal equipment that is being surplused out of those offices. And that's something that's been written into Treasury Board language. So it is quite protected to ensure the success of the program, as well as to make sure that the federal government is meeting their greening goals and aspirations in terms of how their procurement is being treated at end of life. And additionally, we get a lot of support from TELUS, and that again speaks to why we're partnered on the TELUS Internet for Good program as well, which seeks to provide $10 or $20 a month internet for families, and then they can choose to get a device through us. But we also get a lot of equipment from local post-secondary institutions, and this year at our donor recognition event, we were particularly pleased to recognize Langara, who's been a long-term 20-year donor, as well as Capilano University in the past, and KPU, who is a new donor. But all of these post-secondary institutions have been providing a lot of gear to us over the years, and we very much appreciate that, because it speaks to the procurement, it speaks to the greening of how we want to make sure that our assets are being well taken care of at the corporation's end of life, certainly not the piece's end of life, and it helps to build a good story for businesses about how their end-of-life assets are being taken care of, supporting youth and environment and education.
Because I would imagine that, if, say, 30 years ago when everything was launched, that we weren't really thinking about this as a greening process. We were just simply thinking of it as trying to do something with equipment that we thought was either obsolete or had been overtaken by newer technology. So are you witnessing now where that is really baked into a lot of corporations and a lot of public agencies' plans, that they almost budget for eventually coming to you?
Yes, very much so. Certainly to your point about what we were seeing 30 years ago, just the cost of computers back then was so prohibitive that a lot of schools could not afford equipment. And so we really were a benefit to a lot of them. And how the whole conversation around recycling and reuse has evolved in the last 25 years has been quite interesting to watch and see. And particularly in the late 90s, early 2000s, when there was a lot of illegal shipping going on and great concerns about e-waste and how it was being handled in our systems, and how dangerous it was to go into landfill, and how that was impacting eventually our air and our water. So we are very fortunate in BC to have a good stewardship plan that does help with end-of-life recycling for assets. And our goal here really is to delay that end-of-life process. We know that a computer is eventually going to go to the recycling depot and be shredded. And that's really what I think of as recycling in this sphere. And we're really trying to look at reuse and extending the useful life of these assets, often by double. From when as you said, if I donate my laptop, it's 4 to 5 years old. And then if we are successfully able to refurbish that, it can have another 2 to 3, 4 years of life come out of it again.
Last area, and you can speak to the need that's still out there. I think, again, the technology prices have come down. They seem to have stabilized at a certain floor right now, but you can still get quite a computer for the money, if you want to say that. But what need still really exists out there? How vast is it?
So each year we're deploying approximately 6,000 computers. And so I think that is and certainly we're not capturing everyone. We're happy to, but if people don't know, then they don't know. But we think that that's where that kind of average need exists in. Certainly when COVID hit in 2020 and all of the schools were shut down, and there was a large number of students that were sent home as all schools closed and did not have a device at home. And so the closest metric that we've ever seen came from the Ministry of Education about the number of devices that school districts were then lending their assets to students to use at home during the early days of the pandemic. And so that was about 20,000 students across BC that needed to borrow something from the school district to take home. So I think the need does still exist. And we see it certainly with new immigrant families to Canada, but there's also a lot of just, if it's single moms or if it's just someone who's doing job retraining and their current industry has gone under and they're looking to do job retraining. Sometimes these people need a computer too, where they hadn't needed one before. And the other kind of like new market that we're really finding more exploding growth in is with seniors also wanting to have a computer at home, where a lot of them have never had one before, didn't see the need to have one at home. And now they're like, yeah, I think it's time for us to get on here. So many of our government services and our banking services and the way that we communicate and stay in touch with people is done online now. And if you don't have that device, it really impacts your ability to engage and connect.
So I should have known this actually before we started talking, but is this also what you're starting to get into, or is it really laptops and
phones as well?
Nice.
The devices that are used to connect to the internet, really, that's what we're looking for.
Great. Well, look, congratulations on this. It's a really pretty important accomplishment, and you're really proud to be around a province that actually takes it seriously and looks at this as an important measure of sharing. So thanks for your time today, Marielle.
Thank you, Kirk. Appreciate it.
I'm Kirk LaPointe, publisher and executive editor at BIB. Thanks a lot for watching.